We will go to the next subtopic, which is 10.1c, discuss and use particle vibration velocity and also wave propagation velocity. Okay, meaning that here we have two types of velocity. The first one is the particle vibration. Okay, the second one is the wave propagation velocity. Okay, so if you refers to this graph, meaning that your particle vibration velocity only Vy. Okay, because the particle is only moving up and down. Okay, at the equilibrium position. But the wave velocity, it will move, okay, it will propagate to the left or to the right. Okay, so these two are different things. Okay, here particle vibration velocity, the first one is the particle vibration velocity. So velocity of particle which oscillate about equilibrium position, meaning that if you refer back, it will oscillate up and down, okay, about the equilibrium position in simple harmonic motion. Okay, but for wave propagation velocity, the second item is the wave velocity is the velocity at which the wave crest or other part of the waveform will move forward. Okay, this one is moving. Wave propagation velocity is moving, it propagate. But for particle vibration, it will only oscillate. Dia akan ayun up and down, up and down. Okay, so it will oscillate about the equilibrium position in a simple harmonic motion. Okay, so these two are two different things, meaning that we will have two different equations. If the question say find the particle, okay, velocity, meaning that we need to use chapter 9 simple harmonic motions to find the velocity. Okay, meaning that we need to differentiate. Okay, kita perlu differentiate from the equations given. Okay, so first one, if you differentiate A, you will get A lah, because A is constant value. You differentiate omega t, you will get omega. You differentiate sine, you will get cos. Okay, so the equation is V equals to A omega cos, and then we copy back omega t plus minus kx. Okay, so again, plus minus, we need to refer back, okay, to the wave propagation's direction. Okay, if let's say the directions of the wave propagate to the right, meaning that it will be negative kx if it propagate to the right. Okay, if it propagate to the left, meaning that our equation will equal to omega t plus kx. Okay, or if let's say we don't have the time, we can also use v equals to omega a square minus y square. Okay, so in chapter 9 simple harmonic motion, our equation is a square minus x square. Okay, so x square here is referring to the particle is moving up and down. But for in this chapter, propagations of wave, this chapter, progressive wave, our x will change to y because your particle is moving up and down in y direction. Okay, so that's why this one we change to y square. Okay, whereas for wave propagation velocity, it will move, it will move forward. So from initially the first part dot here, it will move forward to the second part. Okay, meaning that your wave is propagate, jalan, dia akan jalan. Shows the truth travel a distance of 1 lambda in a time equal to the 1 period. Okay, so our velocity will equals to V equals to lambda over T or F lambda. Di mana your F is equals to 1 over period. Okay, so if this question asks us to find V particle, we use the first equation. If the question asks us to find the wave propagation, so we use V equals to F lambda. Okay, so the velocity of the particle, okay, Vy is varies with the time. Okay, meaning that at different time we will have different velocity. Okay, but the velocity, the wave velocity is always constant. Okay, so these are the two different things that you need to aware. Okay, next. Okay, next we will go to 10.1d. Discuss the graph of displacement versus time, displacement versus distance. Okay, so you must depend on the graph whether it's y versus t or y versus x, because these two information, they give you two different information. If the question, if the question say this is the graph y versus x. If this is the graph y versus x, so one complete cycle here is 1 lambda. Okay? But if the question say given the graph y versus t, y versus t for one complete oscillation, this one is 1 period. Okay, so this one we call it 1 period. If let's say the graph is y versus t. If the graph is y versus x, the displacement, meaning that for one complete oscillation, one complete cycle is equals to lambda, the wavelength. Okay, so from the equation, if let's say y equals to a sine omega t plus kx, okay, so if let's say they give you this equation, they ask you to sketch the graph y versus x. So for the particle when t equals to 0, meaning that when t equals to 0, your equations that you can obtain here is y equals to a sine omega t equals to 0. So your equation will equals to y equals to a sine kx. Okay, so from this graph that we draw, we know that our k will equals to 2 pi over lambda. Okay, so you can find your lambda or you can find your k from the graph. Okay, next. For the particle when t equals to 0.25 t, the equation given will be, okay, so y equals to a sine omega t plus kx. So you substitute inside, your y will equals to a sine omega, we change to 2 pi over t, and then the period, the time taken is 0.25 period. Okay, plus kx. So the answer will become, the equation will become a sine, if you cancel off t and t, so you will get pi over 2 plus kx. So this is the equations that we get after we substitute t equals to 0.25 period. Okay? Okay, so how can we sketch the graph? Okay, so from here, y equals to a, we arrange back the equation. So our equation will become y equals to a sine kx plus pi over 2, where this pi over 2 is actually is our initial phase angle. Okay, so macam mana kita nak sketchkan graph ini? Kalau kita tengok, initially this is a sine graph. So if let's say sine graph, we draw a sine graph first. Kita lukiskan sine graph. Okay, so this is supposing this is the graph for sine. But if the questions there is a initial phase angle, kalau dia ada initial phase angle, meaning that we need to shift plus plus this is the initial phase angle. So plus pi over 2 meaning that you punya palang ini, okay, you punya palang ini adalah 2 pi, ini adalah 1 pi. So palang ini dia perlu shift to positive, shift to the right, shift to the right pi over 2. Okay, so meaning that you must start from here. Okay, so our new graph will become, new graph yang kita dapat ini, kita akan bermula di atas baru kita turun. So actually is almost like similar like our cross graph. Okay, so if let's say this is the graph y versus x, meaning that this is our lambda. Okay, so this is our lambda. So our equation we can write as y equals to a sine kx plus pi over 2, or we also can write as y equals to a cos kx also can. Okay, so both are the same equation. Okay, next. If we draw y versus t when x equals to 0, you substitute x equals to 0, you will get y equals to a sine omega t. Okay, so this is the general equations for the particle when x equals to 0. Okay, and if let's say we substitute when x equals to 0.25 lambda, we substitute into our equation y equals to a sine omega t minus k is equals to just now k is equals to 2 pi over lambda, and then your x you substitute 0.25 lambda. Okay, so finally the equation will become lambda we cancel. So the new equation will become a y equals to a sine omega t minus 2 pi over 2 pi. If let's say you recalculate 2 pi over 0.25, okay, so you will get not 2 pi, sorry, is pi over 2. Okay, so this one is pi over 2. Okay. Okay, so this is the graph, the equation. So this one we don't need to arrange because your phase angle already at behind. Okay, if you compare with just now the equation, your phase angle is at in front. So we perlu shiftkan dia ke belakang. Okay, so you need to sketch the graph. So since this is a sine graph, meaning that we need to start from sine. Kita perlu start di sine. So, masalahnya kita perlu minus pi over 2. So, when we say minus pi over 2, kita perlu mengundur ke belakang. Palang kita perlu mengundur. Okay, kita perlu shift palang kita ke belakang. Okay, so shift by negative. Negative. So, you punya palang ini dia perlu shift to the left by pi over 2. Okay, so this is 1 pi over 2, meaning that it will shift to this side. Pi over 2. So this is 1 pi. Okay, so meaning that you punya palang You perlu bermula di bawah. Okay, you need to start from at the bottom here. So our new graph will equals to, we'll start from the bottom here. Okay, so this is 1 lambda. Because, sorry, this is y versus t, right? So it's y versus t, meaning that the value here for one complete revolution is 1 period. Okay, can you understand? If no questions, I will proceed to the questions.